Hey everybody, welcome back to Random Talks with Jock. Today I have a good friend of mine, uh, a musician, Zach Helton. Zach, thanks for coming on, man.
Glad to be here, buddy. How you been?
Oh, living the dream out in the old Connexes.
All right.
How's new job?
Someone's dream, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
How's
that's not
new?
bad, man.
Yep.
Keeps me busy.
Yeah, you've been real busy with that, aren't you? Is that like swing
Yeah, I'm
shifts?
working a lot of weekends now and stuff that I wasn't used to, so
Yeah.
that's a little different. But it's been good all in all.
Um, I mean, it pays probably a little bit better. So, and you're not in the cold, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah.
probably spend more time in the cold to be honest, but I don't
Oh,
mind it.
shit. That sucks. Well, man, I got you
You
on here.
take the good with the bad though, you know what I mean?
For sure, for sure. I got you on here. There's a lot of people who want to be musicians, and you've done that now. And I don't remember when you started. Like you were little, looking like Justin Bieber in those old videos. You're probably nine. Were you 9 years old?
Yeah. I I probably started, yeah, somewhere around in there, and then like I never really started taking it kind of seriously until I was probably 18 or 19. But so I mean, even then, that puts me at almost 10 years now,
I know it's
eight.
crazy.
So
It's crazy you're that old. I remember you
yeah,
riding around bicycles,
I know.
terrorizing me.
Uh-huh.
No, but how was it working full time and also trying to gig? Like how'd you manage that?
So I actually liked it a lot because it kind of kept that. Because like when I actually went full time with my music for a while, I really missed having kind of that normalcy of kind of like a structure, I guess, because it's easy to lose when you're playing gigs late at night all the time and don't really have much else going on. Um, so I myself kind of would rather stay with like a 9 to 5 while doing it on the side. If it were to ever become a full-time thing, I would definitely have to find something to keep me busy other than just that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have to do like five different things or I'll go crazy. What's some of the sacrifices you had to make to just I don't know, be as good as you are? I mean, you're pretty talented. Um, you know,
I appreciate that.
is it long days, long weekends with the family? What would you have to sacrifice?
Um, man, I guess like I've never really cared all too much for staying up late. A lot of people who like to hear music and hang out and party like to stay up late. So like especially now, like I don't drink or anything when I'm playing anymore. I try to separate those two things. If I want to go out and have a good time, I try to not do that while I'm playing my music to kind of separate that life. And like when you have to play a show till midnight or 1 a.m. and you got all the people, hey, play longer, and it's like, man, I just want to go home and go to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And you also got those guys texting you while you're up there singing, requesting silly songs.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'd be talking
Yeah,
about,
girls
but
just want to have fun and all that.
I mean, so what has probably been your biggest challenge so far in your music career?
Um, I wouldn't necessarily say call it a challenge, but like my biggest undertaking would definitely be like, I'm sure we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but I released a couple songs and that was like, I guess you can make the projects as big as you want or as small as you want. You could just release it and throw it out there and say, hey, I got this music. Or you can take time and dump into it and, you know, spend as much time on it as you want. And I spent quite a bit of time. I wouldn't say that's a challenge, but it was like probably one of the biggest undertakings I've done with my music.
For sure. I mean, you mostly played cover songs, and then you
Right.
released your two of your own songs, and I mean that's huge. Like writing songs isn't easy.
Yeah.
You have to do all the
Um,
musical
one
chords and
big
stuff.
thing, one thing that I would say was kind of a challenge was there for a while in 23, I think, whatever year. I was trying to get a full band together and trying to collaborate with three or four other adults who have lives and kids and everything else, trying to get together makes it really hard. I mean, it's a lot of dedication if you want to do that. We had a project we were working on just a little bit for not very long, and I had been with a few different guys trying stuff, and it just never really took off. But it's just hard getting groups of guys together, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard staying friends with people and doing stuff. Everyone's busy and all that stuff. So I
Right.
understand. I mean, I haven't seen you in since you left work, you know what I mean? And you have
Yeah,
your own
it's
life
been a
going
long
on.
time.
Um, what?
One other thing that's like with putting a group together is like around here, it's such a small area, you know. There's not that many people around. If I were to want to put a group together, I would probably have to go to Indy or one of the bigger cities to find musicians to get together. And then you have travel added in on top of schedules.
No, what was it like? 'Cause I remember being at work and hearing you had they said your name on the radio. I know it wasn't playing your song on the radio, but how'd that feel? You know, with those commercials.
It's pretty cool, man. So I've actually played on the radio
That's true.
once.
That's true. But
It was the day after my 21st birthday, so you can assume how I felt.
yeah,
We a girl had asked me to come on and play on her show in Crawfordsville. So we went, me and my brother, and of course we share a birthday. It was the day after my 21st, so you can imagine how we were feeling. But we went and we got through the song. But it was really cool to have people send me videos of them sitting in their car listening to me. Like that's a really cool feeling.
yeah. Well, I misspoke. I just didn't know it was on. You know, it's only listened to the local channels. You know what I mean?
Right,
Uh,
yeah, that's been a while ago too, but even just like hearing my name on there, it's really cool to hear.
you know, and you get the whole band. You know, the Zach Helton
Yeah,
band.
yeah, me and my homies here.
No, but what would I don't know, maybe what's some advice you'd give aspiring musicians, maybe some high school kids that are thinking about gigging?
Do it. Don't be afraid. Get up there. Because even if you don't think you've got it or you think whatever, it doesn't matter because you're getting up there, you're doing it, you're enjoying yourself. And I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you have fun, I mean, I've always said if playing music became like work and I didn't really feel it, I would stop doing it.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it's about enjoying yourself. And if you're not enjoying yourself, the people listening aren't going to enjoy themselves either.
for sure. What is like some of the steps though? Like how do you get venues to get you? Do you like go and audition? Maybe like from that
So,
aspect.
so like around here, it's more like word of mouth about like anything, you know. I've picked up gigs before by being somewhere out for lunch and either seeing someone and they're like, "Hey, you play," and then the bartender will hear them say that, and it'll just turn into a conversation, and it's like, "Yeah, let's play here sometime." Or there's been times where I've had my guitar with me, and someone was like, "Hey, man, you got your guitar?" Because that's always a joke. People tell me I shouldn't go anywhere without my guitar. Um, and I've brought my guitar in just random places and played before, and then
Work.
that starts. But and then of course there's also self-marketing, you know, you reach out to places and tell them, "Hey, I mean, especially like if you're a new guy, you may only be able to play 45 minutes to an hour, but I mean, once you get worked up to it, I mean, when I started on 4-hour gigs though, and that was a lot. But once I did it for a few years, I could probably play a 6 or 7 hour gig now and be just fine, you know?
Yeah, so networking is like really big deal though. Like, you know, around just local networking and
Yeah.
I know you played at but the 36 Saloon a lot. I really like that
Yeah,
atmosphere.
and like a lot of the bar managers, especially around the area, kind of are friends or know each other, and they'll
Yeah,
reach out to each other like, "Hey, I've got this guy or this and that." But in all honesty, like it's probably 99% of them, it's people have heard me out playing and they're like, they go back to their local place that they hang out and they're like, hey, you've got to get this guy to come play, you know. So that's kind of how I picked up a lot of gigs. Um, but whenever my schedule's empty, I'll start sending email or sending messages to different places and whatnot and seeing if they have any availability and we'll collaborate a date to figure it out.
One last question about this, and we'll go to Nashville. If you could go back in time to 9-year-old Zach, what would you do different? Knowing what you know now, would you change anything? Would you maybe take something a
Yeah,
little bit more
I
serious?
would have started playing out sooner, first off, and I would have um, looked for guys to play with more because I mean, I've not played with many musicians, and that was something that was kind of humbling to me because like when you do something by yourself for so long and then you get with everybody else, they're already kind of in a groove with playing it with other
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
but to you, it can kind of be like a culture shock, like, whoa, man, or like even as simple as like I've played a song this way since I was 10, and
Mhm.
now I'm playing with these guys and they kind of play it different and it's just like, oh, all right. But I mean you just gotta jump in and write it and you know what I mean.
Did you get like
Or you don't.
yeah, sink or swim? Did you ever like learn any of this from music class maybe at school? Like, or did you just self-taught
Mostly
a little
self-taught
bit?
friend or
I know
like
your
my
family
brother
does it.
played when I was
Yeah.
little. I played the saxophone in band, so
Yes.
that was in like seventh grade. So I was, you know, Pink Panther, that was me, bud.
Some Bill Clinton stuff right there. So let's go to Nashville. Let's talk about let's just talk about that experience playing in what is it? Is it called Broadway Street? Am I thinking wrong city?
Yeah, Lower Broadway. You're right.
What's I wasn't sure. Earlier I said Bourbon Street, but I was thinking to myself, so I was in a whole different state. So talk about that.
You were
Your first
close.
day a little bit.
Yeah, so earlier when you asked about like how you get gigs and stuff and like the audition and stuff like that. So I actually did kind of quote unquote audition down there. I had previously been down there and I was in Tootsie's Orchid Lounge that's a famous bar down there.
Mhm.
And I happened to be there on like open mic day and they had the band playing and I got up and sang a song with them. And the drummer was like, hey, when we go on break, I want to talk to you. Don't leave. And this was before I ever moved down there. And she was like, do you live here? And I told her, I was like, no, I live in Indiana, like 4.5, 5 hours away. And she's like, well, if you ever consider moving down here, you have a place to play. Because they run Tootsie's, Rippy's, and Honky Tonk Central and
Yeah.
Kid Rock's bar. So she told me that, and I was like, man, that's a cool idea. And I just like had kind of jokingly said, yeah, I'm gonna move down here, you know, to my buddies. And I don't know, one day the idea came up, we talked about it and moved down. And I went back and did the same thing, went to that Saturday audition open mic thing. And when I walked in, she recognized me. It'd been probably a year. But when I walked in, she recognized me and was like, hey, when are you getting up here to sing? And I did. And I told her, I said, I live here now. And I think my first gig was like 2 days later. I played 4 days, 4 nights a week, days, nights, kind of mixed it up. But the cool thing about down there, man, is like, yeah, you spend a lot of time playing for hardly nothing, tips only. You know, some days you might make 20, 30 bucks. Other days you might knock it out of the park. You never know.
Gotcha.
But the super cool thing about it is you meet all kinds of musicians from all over the world, and they're all world-class musicians for the most part. Um, and like I learned so much down there. I had been down there like a month and I came back home to visit and my brother heard me play and he was like, dude, you've gotten so much better just from like doing it
Yeah.
constantly and with other people, you know. there's definitely a lot to learn down there, and I could talk about it for days. But everybody, number one question is always, why'd you move back? Why didn't it work out? This and that. It worked out great. It was going wonderful. I could still be there doing it and probably be much further than I am with my music career now. Um, Earlier when I said I missed having like a 9 to 5 and having that kind of uh, structure in my life, that was something that really took a toll on me when I was down there. It was a culture shock. I moved into an apartment in the city and was driving in the city, sitting in
Yeah.
2 hour traffic every day. It was a lot different than I was used to, and um, so I did decide to move back home when my lease was up on my apartment. But but I would not take back a second of it. It was a cool time.
Yeah, I wish I would have been down there while you're playing so I could request Jimmy Fallon, boyfriend. Um,
Hey, bud. The guys would probably have convinced me to try playing it because by the end of it, I kind of had a group that I was playing with regularly. Jokingly, one day I said we were the Yeehaw Boys. I think that's still a band. They have a new frontman. But yeah, they probably would have been like, "Oh, we're doing it."
um, did you ever meet any of those younger superstars that have them houses down there? I don't really know the names of the houses, but they're all over TikTok and all that stuff. Did you ever get to meet those people while you're down there?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name, but I actually played a gig with one of them one time, and then like 6 months, 8 months later, I seen like the 615 house or
Yeah,
whatever it
that's maybe
is,
that's what it
and
is.
I saw
Yeah.
that on there, and I was like, "Hang on, no way!" And I got to look at their TikTok. I was like, "Oh, I know them."
Yeah, that's crazy. I
So
mean, they went
like,
huge.
it's kind of cool. Yeah, they went really big. And then like, remember the yodeling kid, the Walmart
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yodeler kid?
Yeah, for sure. Mason.
Okay, so yeah, Mason Ramsey, a guy that I used to play with regularly, like probably once a week. He's now his lead guitarist, so that's pretty cool.
Maybe get an autograph.
Apparently, he still gigs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he I bet he looks a little different nowadays though. Um, so so we come back from Nashville, we come back to Clinton area. Um, you know, then you kind of gigged around, right? And then you decided, hey, I'm gonna make some songs
Mhm.
and I'm gonna put them out. You want to talk about that process?
Yeah, so good friend of mine, shout out Randall Creed, Randy Webster, whatever you want to call him. Um, him and I kind of started getting together and writing some tunes, and it was flowing pretty good there for a while. We had some good songs going, and he had one that he had pretty much completed, and we were working on it. And I was like, man, if you don't want to do anything with this song, I'm going to. And so he was cool with that. It was one we wrote together, and that was the first song that I put out. That's Cowboys Don't Cry. And I don't remember if we had written Lime Dance at that time or not, but Cowboys Don't Cry was just kind of a sad breakup song, this and that, the boohoo country type song. And then like Lime Dance is actually a really cool song, how it kind of tells a story from front to back. If you actually listen to the words, it does make sense. A lot of people are like, "What's Lime Dance?" I'm like, "Well, if you listen to the words, you kind of understand." But so that song we were at the Mexican restaurant, and we were both drinking a Corona with a lime in it, and like I had pushed my lime down in my beer, so it was floating in there, and at this time, like we would constantly bounce ideas off each other for writing songs. And I took my beer back and took a drink of it, and my lime was kind of bouncing in my beer. And I was like, dude, lime dance. And he was like, huh? And I was like, lime dance. And he's like, and it instantly, so we paid our tabs, we went back to the house, grabbed the guitars, and we probably wrote that song in 20 minutes. Like it was just one of those that boom boom went together really good.
Yeah, it's a really good song. So 20 minutes is ridiculous. That's all it took.
Yeah. Like we got back to the house, and so like when we're writing, we'll set our phones out and just kind of record and whatever happens, because a lot of times he'll sing a verse or I'll sing a verse and we'll go, "Oh, what I just do? Remember what I sang?" You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so we started recording ourselves. That's something he said one day. He's like, "Dude, just start recording when we're doing this." And um, he started kind of playing like the little jingle thing, I think, and we just started going into it, and it worked out really cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I have both of the songs on my playlist, so I get them here and there. I get some Zach Helton thrown in there, so it's pretty cool. People are like, who's
Yeah.
that? I know him. You know what I mean?
So
So it's
like the writing thing I had done, I've always kind of wrote songs. I was writing songs when I was 12, 13, you know. But I had never went to the studio and recorded a song. That was that was different. It was cool, but it was different. The guys that I worked with, Last Day Productions out of Terre Haute, they are really talented musicians. It's dad and his sons, and like they're really creative as well. You know, I had the song written and had it on acoustic. We went there, I played it for him, kind of told him my vision for the song, and we kind of built from that. And it's cool to see the whole process in action.
yeah, I don't understand like how people they put words to music or opposites. Some people write and then put music to words. And it's like how you know where to. It's I because I love music, you know that. I mean, I always have music
Right.
playing somewhere. So, but to write a song is ridiculous. I don't know how you put the right beats with the right lyrics. That'd be fun to see. Like it'll
Well, if you if someone were to look at my notes in my phone, it would probably make zero sense to anyone because I'll be out doing something and I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, that's a good song idea. And I'll just type something down in my phone. And a lot of times at that moment, it's a great idea. When I go back to write something with it, I'm like, oh, that don't even make sense. It's like you have to kind of put yourself back into the headspace to kind of to get an idea to flow. It doesn't always work out, but sometimes, like I wrote one not too long ago and like it was one that just kind of flowed right out. You know what I mean?
for sure. Are you planning on doing any more music on Spotify and all the other apps?
I've considered it. Like we talked about when I first got on the call, my work schedule's changed a lot,
Yeah,
so I'm still trying to get into a groove with that. Of course, winter's here and I'm just ready for spring, so I've not even really been playing out much lately, but and of course I'm planning a wedding, so you know I'm busy with all that.
for sure, for sure. Congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you, bud.
Is just Zach Helton and what? I mean, I know you're on Spotify because that's what I listen to you on. Are you on Apple Music and all that stuff also?
Yeah, it should be on any any music platform anyone listens to, Apple Music,
Okay.
Spotify, YouTube Music. I'm not on Touch Tunes though, man. When I first released it,
Ooh.
so like you use there's different platforms that you like upload your music to and you pay them a fee and they disperse your music and one like it gives all the little icons of all the different platforms that they share to.
Yeah.
And SoundCloud or not SoundCloud, TouchTunes was one of those little logos. So I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome! I'm gonna be able to go to the bar and play my song and this and that."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never been on there. I've looked many times.
Man, if it was, I mean, this is a long time ago. I was probably 21, but I went to Boatsies and there was a bunch of like gothic kids there and being weird, and there was some death metal. So I played Christina Aguilera, Genie in a Bottle, 50 times in a row. So if your music was on there, I would definitely
and
go and
left.
just spam it right there. Just spam it with your song.
Spam every bar.
Yeah. Just drive by and hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't
Like,
happy.
oh, you're listening to class. Not no
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. But it's are you planning on maybe playing at the festival? You have time for that or
So this last year I played Saturday night, the main event, they call it. And it was awesome. It was a really good show. Um, my system, I put my two systems together so I could have enough to push volume because I knew it was going to be packed. It worked out really well. I played a really good show. Um, but it was a lot of fun. There was so many people there. I never even went up like to the back where you get drinks and stuff while I was playing. I just kept like stepping out back when I take break because there was just so many people, and I knew
oh
if I
yeah.
went up in the crowd I would get caught up talking and everything else.
Yeah, you might not made it back to the stage. Yeah. I was at the
But
lower bar.
I don't know if they've reached back out to me or not this year. I'm sure they will. They usually get a hold of me close to time, and
Gotcha.
because years previous I played like Sunday afternoon, which is a really good time slot too. But Saturday night was a different beast though. It was fun.
There's so many people. It's I
Yeah.
mean,
It'd
it's
be it'd be really cool, and that's actually the project. So I guess it was 24 maybe that I was working on a project with some guys. I was really hoping to have a full band for that gig. It didn't work out, but we still
yeah,
made it work.
I mean, I can't remember their band name, but I remember a bunch of kids, probably between our age. They played at Terravilla that one year as a full band. I mean, one of the best shows I've
Mhm.
seen locally, just all around. I was like, if you could do that, I could see you putting on a pretty good show like that. And I mean, they had people dancing, and I mean, it was fun. But the Little Italy, it's such a good way to get your music out because you're not just hitting our age. You're hitting 21-year-olds,
Right.
some underage kids that sneak in, and then people in their 60s, 70s still in there drinking. You know what I mean? So all these people are listening to you. I think
Those
it's,
those are the ones that have the most fun out there, I think.
oh yeah, you get them grandmas out there with some wine in them.
Oh yeah, bud.
No, it's hopefully you're playing again. But yeah, I did. I'd really like to see some more music on Spotify. I'm not gonna lie. I need to update my playlist here. So hopefully that's in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah, once we get through this wedding and I get back from Jamaica, I
Ooh,
might start putting a little time towards it. Like I said, I haven't really focused on music much lately like I was, but I definitely will get back into it. So hopefully we'll have something.
yeah, you'll have to let me know. I'll make sure I post it here and put a little video out, something like Zach Helton band live.
Yeah, appreciate it.
No, but no, man, we're running out of time, but I really appreciate you coming on and talking about your experience and everything. It's been awesome. I'm glad that we're buddies, and I can hit you up if I want to hear some music. So, um,
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, and hopefully I answered all the questions fully. I don't know.
no, no, I think it was a good video, man. Like I said, I can't do this without my friends. I'm just having fun. So, hopefully you had a good time. Maybe get you back on again. So, hey,
Yeah,
we're gonna get out of
definitely.
here, guys.
Maybe once I do get back to writing some stuff, I will have to come on. We'll do a little talking on that one.
Well, maybe I'll get this room finished up and you can come in and we could try to do some music live here for some people. But
As long as you ain't singing, we can do
no promises. All right, brother. Thank you so
it.
much.
All right, let's see, buddy.
Goodbye.